have any thoughts in terms of how a PM will need to adapt for an AI project. I imagine that it won't be your standard waterfall or even agile methodologies. You'll probably need to do some things a little differently than any project previous to. And so I'm interested in thoughts in terms of how this will develop and push the envelope for project managers and what they'll need to do to adapt to this environment and successfully lead an AI project. So we'll go ahead and start off with Spencer and get your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, agile is here to stay. No waterfalls for me whatsoever. Everything needs to be divided into the smallest chunks, and you tackle those chunks one little bit at a time. That's just the right way of doing things in order so that you don't get it, so you don't dig a hole for yourself. You can pivot in, you can pivot out. You have that fluidity to change strategy. Sometimes business priorities changes, right? There's so much R&D and research. It's just endless amount of research, testing and research and testing, figuring out which algorithm, which model we should use. Okay, here's 20 of them that we should try out. Okay, 2 weeks later, we've only tried one and it failed. Okay, now next week, can we try 3? There's a lot of fluidity in managing my AI projects in my context anyway. So I had to kind of adjust my mindset to it, is that at least in the context of what I do with our data scientists every day, there's just a lot of unknown, and we have to allow them the space, right? The space and the flexibility to continue to explore and also fail. And the next question is, okay, how do I manage the business owners? How do I become that bridge that bridges the lack of progress to we really need to achieve something to move the business forward? So then that becomes communication, that becomes presentation of business value and progress and so on and so forth.
Ryan, do you have any finishing thoughts?
I agree with Spencer. If there's anything better than agile for managing these projects, I'm not aware of it. But that said, right, a PM of an AI project should absolutely be a Scrum Master, get that certification. And then if there's other, technologies or what have you involved, at least have a general awareness of AI and how it's impacting the business, and take some other learning courses on AI if you're not there yet.
Many of our leaders are like, okay, when is it going to get done? And a lot of times there are dependencies with communication or marketing, other things, especially in getting product features out. But how, in an AI world, how do you manage expectation when, as Spencer's talking, he was saying, you got to let them fail. You got to let them try things. That's going to extend that timeline way out there. So I don't know, any tips on like, how do you manage I need it now, that sort of appetite?
I think first and foremost, you really, before you embark on this AI driven journey, you really need to understand, is your leadership team committed? And are they invested with budget behind it? It's not a short journey. It's going to take repeated failure before you really find that win. And yeah, I've seen companies not be invested and try and do this, and after 8 weeks of not finding the right insights, they're like, I can't show you ROI, so I can't continue. And it's like, well, you need investment for at least a year or more. It needs to be a multi-year journey.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, that's a hard one. You need to have you need to have the executive sponsorship completely committed, but at the same time, almost every milestone, if you will, right, in the agile world, you break it down into tiny little milestones. Every milestones, as a product manager, as a PM, I'm constantly asking myself, is this really worth the investment? Is this really worth the time and investment, right? Okay, if we hit it out of the ballpark, how is that going to grow the business, right? I mean, every single milestone I'm assessing, I'm asking these questions because I am spending more money, I am investing more. And if the answer is, okay, we have 65% confidence, okay, do we push forward, right? Can we push until we have 75%? If we actually go backwards, down back to 45, maybe it's time to cut the loss. So it's not necessarily just about finishing the project and deliver. A lot of times it's about killing things too. A lot of times it's just like, guys, we've gone at it for 2 months, right? And we have like 5% success rate. Is it time to give up, right? Is it time to look for something else that can bring a whole lot more business value that based on the learning for the past 2 months, we know we can deliver with much more confidence. So that's what I mean by like the PMs need to be much more strategic now. Like it's almost like moving into a business role to make those assessments on a milestone to milestone basis.